83 single. Quarter to $2 bill on Humboldt Station. Said aloha, man. You have a good one. Aloha.
Quarter, he better have a $20 bill when they come. He can't make a need to spend some money. He better get out his $20 bill, put on another 60 quarter, big old mile gone.
5429, 83 gone. Aloha, please, to you. Well, I right with you, brother. Man, Lord knows everybody gets up and down, but you're right through the fucking mess, man. I appreciate it. Give us right back with me, no doubt about it. Wagon Burner 83 is right back with you. Aloha, break it, brother. Take care of my brother. You know, enjoy the weekend I got in. Do it again. Wagon Burner 83 right back. Said aloha.
Testing, 1, 2.
Okay.
Get stuff to work. And actually do this.
I got 429. You got a group on the Humboldt. Hello, 429. That's $2 bill on the Humboldt. Honolulu.
6 1/4, man. I thought I'd come out there, bump this stop plug and let me see what you're doing down there. It's been a while since I bumped it down your Cambican bus stop. Hello, Mr. World War 6. To wave my hand up there in California. 6 1/4, big mouth. Got down. Come on.
They just aren't going to be nice tonight, are they? Let me check a few things.
030, I heard you want a bedroom. 83 like...
Well, appreciate you waving a hump.
Roger that, 030. Take care, man. I'm just reading the mail. I'm gone. Bye. Appreciate it. 33 1/4, man. I'm still
All right, they're just not going to be nice out there tonight, are they?
Bye-bye.
No, there's some big strappers out there.
check out the Humboldt Station. Hello, station.
All right, let me check my audio. It was set up earlier, and now it looks like it's gone down a little bit. Is there enough audio? I can turn it up a little bit.
No, it sounds good here.
My ears, 99.
Okay, let me check the REA meter. Yeah, it looks like it's okay. Just seemed like it was down for a second. Okay, I'm going to fire it up, and here we go.
Oh, there's 030. You sounding good around here, Carl Bigger. It's been a while there, man. I like your cars, man. I love that Camaro. Put on another Mr. Worldwide 030. The big old map is right back. Come on.
All right, we'll give it a shot. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio. At least that's what we'd like you to believe.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by OTR. Brought to you by 27.085 megahertz. Brought to you by RADI. The Old Tube Radio Network.
And all over Skipland, they're wondering, what is that? Someone playing music? No, that is the orchestra, Mr. Announcer, and all things good and well. Just checking the light in here in the studio. All things good and well here in the Old Tube Radio Network. The Old Tube Radio Network since 1986. I think, is that right, OBP? Since about 1986, right here on this frequency, 27085, channel 11. A group of like-minded individuals for having a good time on your 11-meter radio. Who would have thunk that's possible? And doing it in a way that promotes the use and distributes information about the classic tube radio sets. Many of us who were out back during that time might have had a few. Some of the ones we didn't have, we might have now, but we'll be talking about that in a little bit. First off, we're going to check in with our listeners from near and far out, see what's going on with them, and then we'll drive those tubes around the block so you can hear them. And if you're tuned into the video, you can see them. We're live at channel 11, streaming audio at on your Universal Media Net web at oldtuberadio.net, where there's a link to, believe it or not, a video feed that will have all sorts of things, including me, unfortunately, but we'll have radios as well. So join us, won't you? Directed net roll call comes first, but I know we have a few stations that would like to check in early. I got a couple of them before I unkey here. I believe it was SWL 53, Mr. Bel Air. We will get you in as well. SWL 24, Joseph was in, and I'm going to unkey so we can hear any other stations that try to get through the skip for an early check-in. This is OTR.
Hey, Warhead. As you wake them all up, Postmaster down on the Waving Rod back.
If anybody can get through that. Right now, the gray line is way out towards Australia. Taking a look at the map shows absolutely nothing. It must be logged in. Okay, well, let me log into that map and we'll see something, perhaps. Anyway, SWL number 1 is in, but before I do that, they're waving their hands saying you don't have, that's right, we have a new list. There is no official 00, so I'm going to do that right now, so hold on.
That'll do. Hey, 429. Ain't here to adjust anything, just to say good day your way. 429, Postmaster, back out.
Okay, I am back. They have handed me the special jar. Why are there so many? There are a ton of... did everyone get perfect attendance? Why are there so many? Oh, well, that's right. Everybody got a free check-in last week. Anyway, there's this is like 600 items in here. Okay, I think I'm going to try and pull out one out of the many, but all right, we have one. Thank you. Somebody drew all these up. I didn't do it this week. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's everybody from the last 5 weeks. The 00 is Stan out of Dallas, Georgia, SWL 71. I think he already came by. I think I see his name on the I'm checking in list. So Stan, if you're listening, I know you are busy. There's all sorts of things going on. Yeah, he's right at the top. Checking in and checking in. So we'll get you his 00 and 71. All right. So let me mark that in. 71. 00. Let's see. One I got. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, who was tracking the sun and the moon simultaneously at the same time today. Did anybody here in the Central Valley go out early in this morning? Did you notice it was dark? Kind of like dark in the house. You can go outside and there's that reddish. You think, what's up? That reddish glow. And if you have the glasses, yeah, don't do what Bozo Control did. You just kind of look straight at the sun. You do the dark glasses, and yes, you could see the moon. It wasn't, at least from our area, it wasn't a full, anywhere close to full eclipse. It was pretty good. Looked pretty cool. Get kind of an eerie feeling outside at 9 o'clock this morning. So thanks, Kevin. You were correct on your prediction of lots of skip this evening. I think as the gray line goes down, things should change. The DX map is not functioning. It's showing that there's absolutely no activity, which we know there isn't.
Waving a big even hand right back at you. 030.
SWL number 3, I'm getting Rob checked in. He was, they were working at the Clovis Amateur Radio Pioneers special, some type of race, something going on today. I think 111 was out there doing some things. I want to say, let's see, SWL5, okay for Mr. Rainmaker. SWL7.
SWL7 checking in, and I was also checking out the solar eclipse. I did have the correct filter on my telescope, though.
Yeah, I got to have this filter on the telescope. I tried taking a picture through my little funky eclipse glasses where you could see it, but it didn't work. It just looked like a little white dot. So that was pretty cool. So I'm thinking I've got to get myself a telescope or something here. But good deal. I don't know when the next thing coming through is, but this wasn't too bad. We were for once we were kind of in a good spot.
Yeah, it was really nice, and it was really weird this morning when it started getting darker. That was just not right. But yeah, that was definitely nice.
Yeah, it was dark in the house, and I went outside, and you know it had that orangey, that reddish glow. But I mean, there's still a lot of light. When you look at the amount of sun that was being blocked, you think there's still amount of light, and that's 93 million miles away. I just can't wrap my head around that sun thing. Anyway, you're sounding good, Ed, and it sounds like you may have an item of interest for us.
I might have later. Thank you.
Okay, the old Tube Radio Network of 21 is saying the window cadaver has moved. I don't know. I can never see the video behind my head. There's something going on back there, and you know, I'm kind of right in the middle. It is kind of spooky, but it is October. It is that month, so if there's anything spooky going to happen, it's going to happen now. SWL10, Chrissy is online at oldtuberadio.net, actually on the video site, so jump over and say hello to Chrissy and the gang up in Idaho. Listen in. I know Dwayne has got the Robin and the Browning ready to go when things clear out here from the Pacific. We just might have some conditions, so Chrissy, thanks for joining us.
06 Postmaster Melbourne.
And Melbourne, Australia sounding good. You know, the buttons are coming off. I may have to retire the jacket. There's buttons coming off here. There's that one. So did the cat, I'm asking Charlie, did the cat get a hold of the suit before you handed it to me today? I don't know. It's in not good shape. You'd have to find something else. SWL 11 and 12, the Mr. Cornbread. Yes, somebody did say Fresno. I think there's oops, my headphones are coming off. I think there's a game tonight. We'll find out where the Bulldogs are playing. I think it's televised on CBS or something, but maybe they're not local. We'll find out. SW 11 and 12, Dan, Mr. Cornbread and Dapper Dan, out there somewhere checking in. Fresh haircut, looking dapper, feeling dapper. Shine shoes, press suit, and here I am. The buttons are falling off of mine. So I'm in a far. I'm being lapped. I'm in a far second. Dapper Dan has put me on the opposing previous lap here. So and I don't think I can recover tonight. So I won't even try. The trophy will go to 12. Thanks, guys. 11 and 12 looking good. SWL 13. Refreshing my comments to see if Mr. Cobra is in there. I'm going to ask if Sanger can hear me tonight. If you can, take a transmission.
6 1/4. 6 1/4. 06. Your postman. Your postmaster.
And thanks, Aaron. Frozen State was on last night. Where were they playing? They must have been far away or something when they were on last night. All right, Sean, I'm getting you checked in. I'm pretty sure you were there. You're maybe listening online. SWL 15, Hans is listening in. Alpha 173, where the full sun is coming up over the hills and the dales and valley, or however the sun comes up. They're near the capital city. Thanks for joining us. SWL 16, Anoka, Minnesota, I think it is, with the remote item going on. Charlie's checking in. Hope I had a good time at my reunion. Thanks for asking. You know, I always thought, I don't want to go, but I went there and it was a good time. That is a yacht club down in Southern California. The only way I can get into a yacht club is if I'm tagging along with a group that can get into the yacht club. It was nice. Saw people I haven't seen in a long time. Had some friends go down with me, so it was good. That girl we went to the prom with was there 50 years ago. She says, I remember you. That's good. That's a good thing. I remember her too. Let's see. SWL 16 is in. How about SWL 17? And no, who is asking? No, I did not wear this suit to the high school reunion. Yeah, you know, I thought I heard you, Sean, on something, but the Down Under is a little bit over the top at the moment, but we'll get you in when we start glowing in the dark. And those watching the video, I'm doing this cross-arm thing because the J38 key is now way across the table for some reason. And I was going to slide it forward, and the wires connecting it are tight. I can't move it to where it needs to be, so I'm doing this acrobatic move here across the table. This is kind of weird. SWL 18, Mikey, we're checking him in from Facebook. SWL 19, Chet is there with the cue cards, looking good, and he's got, what is it? Yeah, we were supposed to have our pumpkin behind me tonight, and he says they're using it out in the other studio tonight because, I thought I heard lots. I can hear it. I'm surprised you're not hearing it over the microphone. Espresso Trucking Company is here performing tonight, and I guess they're going to do something for us a little later on. Is that right? Okay. Good deal. So, Espresso Trucking Company, and you have something for me. Yeah, that is it. What is it? Reach over that. Oh, that's nice. Where did this come from? Chet and Charlie, what are they? Grapes. I know. Don't eat on the air. This is really good. Where does it come from? Their little buffet tray. I know there was somebody running around, had that food stuck on toothpicks. I got some of that. It was not to my liking, a little too spicy, but these grapes are good. Thanks for bringing them by. Sorry for chewing in your ear there. They're always so good to me, and I'm sure these were on the Costco card, so I paid for them anyway. Let's go to SWL 20. Harvey, can you hear me from the west side? Over.
Yes, I can. Please check me in, 29 and 54. And I'll be listening. 295, Mr. Miller, I'll be around coal country. I know.
All right.
On this end.
All right. The J38 keys. Now it's underneath. Uh-oh. Did I turn myself off now? All right. There were some other cables. There's cable stuck underneath them. I think the cat was up on the table here tonight. So, all right, Harvey, I've got you checked in. Do not go away because we do want to hear from you, some of your radios tonight when we start glowing in the dark and a little bit later. But we got you checked in.
All righty. We'll catch you after a while.
All right, those watching the video are having a fun time watching me do all sorts of stuff. SWL 21, Mr. JT. From his air chair moments ago on Old Radio Night. Let me see if I can dial up. There was a lot of stuff going on ORN tonight. Let me see if I can bring it up with some audio. Oh, it's running. Okay, turn up the audio here. Where's the ORN audio? There it is. Let me bring the picture up. He's got the wheel. I love his wheel of whatever it is. The wheel of misfortune. Now, what happens when you spin? I know you spin that, but when it lands on something, do they get a prize? Do they perhaps? Where's my close-up cam? Do they get one of these Old Radio Night badges? I don't know. You have to tune in
Y'all check out CB Lounge 2112.
To Old Radio Night tonight. And there was another thing. Let me skip ahead. See if I can find it. Where you had... I'm having grapes. I thought I saw a bottle of wine or something on the table tonight. Maybe I was dreaming. Maybe that was last week's program. Anyway.
Had a blend 4558. I think that's the number.
The skip was in. I heard Van Man on 11. You guys are on 17. What are you on tonight? The SSB 140 range boost. Nice looking Lafayette.
What kind did he have?
Nice looking Lafayette radio tonight. The Old Radio Night, or Old Radio Night, you can catch that before this net on YouTube. If you're on the West Coast, East Coast, or wherever you might be. And 21 does a good job. So go over there and press the appropriate buttons.
Well, I didn't want to bring this up, but
it's for liking or not liking or whatever it is that you need to do. So, JT, we've got you checked in. And I was listening. I was listening, but I didn't get to come in and make a comment because I was busy trying to get all sorts of stuff. 147, I see. I'll check you in now. We did a new 00. We were supposed to do it last week, but I wasn't here. And the new 00 is, and I forgot number. Oh, it's Stan. SWL 71. You were probably in the mix. This was the jar. It must have had like 400 names in it. I don't know why they put it together. But anyways, SWL 71. So Neil, you are off the hook if you don't quite get to the radio room before whatever your time, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. You will be good because you were still at 147. That's not going to change, and I will check you in now out there in Kakalaki. SWL 22, Mitch is coming up. Tyler, I'm seeing if he was on, no. I was seeing if he was on Echo Link. I was hearing Tyler before the net talking Skipland. So I know he was logged in. So he's probably listening to himself on the stream. So Tyler, if you're listening, and you probably know we were hearing you down here in Fresno tonight. So I've got you checked in. Okay, and I'm watching something that I don't need that. I've got too many screens on. What I do need is to make sure that 21 is checked in, 22 is checked in, and SWL 23 is here tonight. He's actually, I thought I saw him in the studio. He was hanging out with Espresso Trucking Company. They are live in the other studio tonight. They will be here a little later just for us to do whatever they do. On your old tube radio network, home of the Otter 841, free 841. Is that a Disney movie with who is it? Dean Jones and Kurt Russell and Haley Mills? Probably. I wonder if any of those people had CB radios. They probably did. I bet Kurt Russell had a CB radio in his Corvette. SWL, thank you, Mitch. And thank you for bringing the ETC over this evening. We will be getting to them later on. SWL 24 checked in moments ago. SWL 25. Get a proxy checked in for Jerry. I believe he is performing tonight. Page 2, SWL 27. And I get the skip is just sort of falling out of there now. At least here in the valley. I know your stations up in the hills are I'm sure still hearing everybody. SWL 27. Where is Mr. Gary? Out there on the Capitol Expressway. A little bit north of Galt and a little bit south and west of Rockland, no doubt. Hello, 28. Everyone, he's there checking in tonight. I think I will have a Canada Dry Tahitian treat over ice with a Big Hunk candy bar. Big Hunk. How many of you on a Big Hunk candy bar lost a tooth or did something bad to your teeth trying to bite into that Big Hunk when it was cold? Yeah, you need to put it in your pocket and sit on that Big Hunk for a while before you bite into it. Hello, Gary, you're sounding good. I don't know what a Tahitian treat is, but it sounds like it might be something close to a Hawaiian punch. And with a big hunk candy bar, you will be up all night. Watch the eclipse through his welding helmet. I watched it through my wedding helmet. That's why it was a bad experience. His welding helmet. I think that's sort of what I had glasses. They're special eclipse glasses. But you saw the same thing we did here in the Central Valley. It was pretty covered up. But it wasn't total darkness. But you could tell something was up. Thanks, Gary, for checking in. We've got a proxy check-in for Mr. Loner SWL29. And if he could, he would. SWL30, Dwayne from Idaho. And he might still just pop right in tonight. We'll be listening. Directed net roll calls where we're at. The radios will be coming up. SWL 31. SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33, myself, and a honk of the proboscis for Bozo Control and all the rest. SWL 34. I'm going to get Jimmy checked in. He might be listening from his remote collection or his remote location. No, he's right there. He's checking in live and direct. Thank you, James, for checking in tonight. Hope all is going well. I'm not sure if you're back at the regular QTH or where you're at, but you're looking good. The pages are good. All sorts of interesting stuff for your Facebook pleasure, whether it's railroading or radio-related. Jimmy has it dialed in. Mr. Bill, SWL 35. I saw you last week. I refreshed the page, and I don't see you now, but Red Monkey Communications, Bill, will get you checked in. Cheyenne, where I'm sure the snows of winter are not far away. But it's still, we have a nice weather in the mid-80s for the big and even big. Actually, it's the kind of small Fresno Fair this year around, I think. I haven't been there, but people told me it's about half the size, that half the people aren't showing up and things are less and you do this and that. But I guess that's the ways of the 21st century. SWL 35, SWL 35, 36, SWL 37.
37 here, Dennis, and good evening time.
And good evening, Chris. You are sounding good through the noise with no problem. Over.
Thank you, mate. I don't know if I'm going to be back out for others. I'm kind of tired. We've been busy, so I'll be shutting this down pretty soon. I just wanted to make sure I checked in. Over.
All right. Well, glad you made it to the air chair to say hello radio to not only us here on 27085, but the entire universe that can tune in at oldtuberadio.net. Have a great evening.
It's making me feel bad now because I'm cutting out of here quick.
No, you are on tape. You are present and accounted for. Sounding good.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Echo link is up. I see a couple of you out there. I will get to the Echo link at the appropriate time. SWL 38, Sam. What happened? What happened to our DX where you can check in on the 3,000-mile round table? Well, give it a shot. If I hear you, I hear you. I want to say hello to, who else is listening in tonight? Jukebox 502 in Nineland. Who did I talk to today? I know I didn't write it down. Oh my God, 10 meters was open. All sorts of stations. I'm sure I talked to a 9 station somewhere. And thanks for the good comments there, 502. It is my pleasure to sit in the air chair. One of the many net controllers who have done so in the past, 38 years here at the Old Tube Radio Network, making sure that real radios still glow in the dark. Joey, Tango Romeo 21 X-Ray, upstate South Carolina, sounding good, and likewise, thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. Jed, United Delta X-Ray 183, hello, radio. Jim asking, 97 asking, when does the high school reunion movie come out? I think I left. I saw them starting to film, and I left before I was going to be one of those what was in Star Trek? One of those red shirt extras in the high school reunion. Didn't want to do that. Aaron asked me not to put the grapes. Where did I put the grapes? On top of the amp. No, I won't do that. Well, at least if it has a flash bang, maybe they'll turn into raisins. Just want to say hello to stations checking in. Tracy will get you checked in as well. Diddy Bopper, hello from Prospect, Connecticut. Great skip today. Yeah, it is. 10 has been open. 10 meters, 11 meters have been open. That is sort of the way of the autumn skip pattern. And since we are on cycle 25 and we've got sunspots, it's doing pretty good. I was hearing FM up on the 10, and I didn't hear any AM. A lot of good stuff. Mark, heard Fresno shooting skip to Italy last week. Nice DX. All right, thanks, Mark. You are correct. I don't have my log. I talked to, is it here? What did I do with it? I had a page. I turned it over. I did talk to Italy. Gianni, I think it was. Yeah. India, November 3, Romeo, Juliet, Syria. Gianni in Italy. That's a hard hop from my little wimpy station here in Fresno. But easy for the guys on the East Coast. Hello, Hans and Larry. The mighty Oz. Larry's joining us tonight. Can we get a shot of the Larry Shack? I think I can do that. There it is. There's the Shack of Oz, nice and tidy. I like the logbook. Ready for that to log that DX contact or not. So thanks for joining us tonight, Larry. Always good to have you aboard. I'm just going through. I think we're good. I want to get through the World Cup, and I'm always glad when people stop by to say hello. Popcorn 913. I have a bag of popcorn that I will not partake until I'm off the air tonight, but I'm going to do that. I saw that up in my little cupboard. I'm thinking, well, I forgot I had that. Hey, Hippopotamus. Hello, radio. I'm hearing Backscatter now talking to Hippopotamus. He's probably trying to check in Sam. Just listening.
Bye-bye.
Somewhere in California, 153 in the Backscatter, Hippopotamus, and everybody else. All right, back to the roll call. Thanks for letting me hang out for a little bit. SWL 39, hello, Dan. SWL 40. I think the crossband is up too. I'll get Larry checked in. I saw Larry, where did Fresno at? Larry was buying something over there at Fresno, eh? SWL 41, Mr. Road Dog 507. Checking in from the Tri-County React, Hudson Valley, New York. Saying good evening to everyone and right back. Good evening to you. SWL 42. SWL 43. Got a proxy in for Crazy Eddie. SWL 44. Ray up there in the hills always has a good receive. Sounding good on the Ditch Banks sideband last night and probably waiting for the skip to go wait, see if you can hear us. 360 is checked in. SWL 45, if you are listening, hello, Paul and Kelly. Hope all is well up in the hill. 45. Miss you guys over the air. Anyway, when you can get things fired up, please do. But if you're listening, we appreciate all your many check-ins. Probably over 10,000 in all that time. I think you've got 10,000 radios. That's why. SWL 46. And Crash 350, hello. Hope everyone's having a great evening. I am. Hope you are too, Ralph. SWL 47.
Good evening from the Radio Lounge. This is SWL 47. I'm sorry last Saturday didn't work out, and 2 Saturdays ago, sorry I bailed on that one as well. I was just a few yards away from an actual Stradivarius being played, and that was nothing short of spectacular, but a good evening from the Radio Lounge.
Ah, yes, Stradivarius. I have a Stradivinsky. It is over somewhere. I'll have to bring it. Maybe I'll bring it out tonight. The Stradivinsky, but it is not, like you said, not as exciting as the true Stradivarii. The Stradivariuses. I don't know when you have 2. What are they? Stradivarium. Sounding good. Well, I was out of the air share last week at a high school reunion down south, so everybody got to check in. We are on the new 8-week roster. SWL 71 is a new 00, and all is well. So you are sounding good, and thanks for stopping by. Over.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, are you on one of your tube radios?
I am. The Robin 123.
All right, I just wanted to get that as a little teaser for things coming up, because this is the Old Tube Radio Network. Whether you know it or not, we'll be talking radios. And one of our astute shortwave listeners says, he's low on frequency. But that's why. But I hear you just fine. We'll talk about that when you check in a little bit later. Don't change a thing. Thanks for stopping by.
That's a horrible teaser. Am I low on frequency right now?
I don't know. We'll talk about that in a moment when you check in. We'll check it out, see where you are at. I certainly hear you on my bandwidth where I'm setting, and I'm sure everyone else does as well.
All right. Thank you, sir. 73.
Indeed. SWL 48. I've got a proxy check-in for Sammy, SWL 49.
030, Postmaster down on the Raven Rubber.
Postmaster, we need to check you in. Get on your Brown Eagle Postmaster. I'm getting a proxy check-in for 49, Brian and Sweet Country Mama.
8030.
SWL 50. Mark probably can't hear me through all the noise. Sangertown, SWL 51. Dave's probably going to say hello already over the Universal Media Netweb. Dave, I'll get you checked in. I know you're out there. Make an adjustment. The headphones are going to drive me nuts tonight. SWL 52, who is never low on frequency. With the new radio, he's right on frequency. I can hear you over.
Yeah, there's a lot of skipping there, but I'll just shoot from the hip and just keep transmitting over it from behind the golden microphone. SWL 52 out here on the west side of Fresno.
All right, sounding good. Nice audio and an S6 signal right in between Australia and who knows where else. Sounding good. Thanks for checking in. We are on the direct-to-net roll call, the Old Tube Radio Network, where real radios glow in the dark. They will be doing that when we get to the radio check-ins coming up. SWL 53 checked in early. We will be going to page 3. For those of you who are playing the home game, anybody ever have a home game of, there was like Password, I had the home game of Password. They had those special little pockets where you put the password in, it would go through a red little things that would make you couldn't see what it was until you pulled it out. And Concentration, at the Concentration home game where you pulled the little numbers out when you mashed the 2 and you read the little puzzle underneath. And the OTR home game, just as fun, let me tell you. Page 3.
Molokai showing up down on the Puka 6 wave in Burbank.
And the skip is staying in late tonight, or is it early? James, I see you. I see you there. 109, Mr. Crawdad. Yeah, it's pretty wacko here tonight. We're getting a proxy check-in for SWL 54. SWL 55, SWL 56.
Evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
All right, well, I know you can hear me tonight. I am beaconing, let's see, it's number 4. Not the walking man, but the mobile radio is beaconing tonight on the APRS. It looks good. And one of the stations I could probably hear no matter where the skip was, but you're sounding good tonight. Phil, thanks for joining us. Also, MARR, that's the Mid-Atlantic Radio Repair. Listening to the broadcast, that's a good way to put it. Although you're not supposed to be broadcasting, right? You're supposed to be transmitting. Broadcasting is a whole different thing, but I don't know. I guess if you're on the video side, you could call it a broadcast. Anyway, thanks for joining us. SWL 57, Mr. Brown Dog Audio, somewhere in central Kentucky tonight. From the Tri-County React, Hudson Valley, of course. Why did I say central Kentucky? Anyway, how about Hudson Valley, New York, Mr. 507? Thanks for joining us. Over to SWL 58. I think I need another grape. Jeremy, we'll get a proxy check in. X in the square for 57. SWL 59. That is, who is that? That's Uncle Hairball. Where are you tonight? Were you on Old Radio Night? Not sure. A lot of people check into Old Radio Night. He's got them lining up. They have to take a number to get in. SWL 60. Hello, Joe.
Dennis, we're going to give it a shot there, see if you can hear us. And if you can, there's no Fresno State game tonight. Probably not till next week. Anyway, we want to say hello to everyone and top of the evening to the band. 603, or better known as SWL 60, checking in.
603 sounding good, man. Your signal is only S3, but you got some great audio going on. So no problem hearing you through the noise tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you much, Dennis. Doggone it. Hopefully next week they will have a fairly decent antenna to put up. This RG58.
Break channel.
Leave it that way. It's fun to work with.
Yeah, sometimes the big stuff is better. Sometimes the small stuff is easier to use. But as long as the connectors are good and the squirrels haven't chewed through it, you are good to go. Joe, we've got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis.
We are directed net roll call, page 3, looking for SWL 61. Should I get Dino checked in? He'll be in. Sometimes when they skip, he'll just turn the radio off and come back a little bit. I'll give him a proxy with the fact that he's probably going to be checking in. SWL 62.
Break channel.
The break channel, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to check in. This is SWL 93.
All right, let me head over to page 4, Jimmy, and we will get you checked in tonight. You're sounding good through all the noise. Over.
Well, thank you, Dennis. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks for stopping by the place where real radios glow in the dark. That will be coming up when I am through the roll call here. We were looking for SWL 63. SWL 64. SWL 65.
Can I proxy him, Dennis, and check in myself, please?
Yeah, okay, 55, 65, 55, 65, over.
Thank you.
And you got good receive to hear me through all the noise tonight, that's for sure.
It's hard, but I try.
All right, I should dial off frequency and it would be easier, just kind of turn down. All right. No, 23 says, is he in your driveway? No, he is probably 30, 40 miles away, believe it or not, but he's got a good, I think you're still there, altitude antenna. That's, location, and altitude when it comes to antennas. 007 Extreme CB. From the Jersey Shore, 007. Thanks for dialing in to the Old Tube Radio Network tonight, waiting for his favorite radio to stop by, no doubt. There's SWL 79 from the Fresno Fair, the big Fresno Fair. I'm thinking it's not as big. It's the almost big Fresno Fair. I bet Mr. DC is at the Jumbo Corn Dog stand, right across from the Channel 30 booth. So get a Jumbo Corn Dog and say hello to the gang at Channel 30, except they're probably all gone. It's probably just a dark thing with some cameras and a security guard. But have fun at the big Fresno Fair, and hopefully whatever you entered, you've gotten a blue ribbon for it. We are listening for SWL Let's Try 66, SWL 67, SWL 68. I believe 68 checked in early. Michael, out there, way out there in New York. Thanks for checking in. SWL 69. Kenny was in from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was in early. I saw you, Kenny. So if you watched the replay or you are still listening, you are checked in. Let me see. I didn't run down the list tonight. I'll start. We don't have a lot of people in tonight. They're all down in the other room watching the music. Fresno, Inez, Kentucky. Van Man, are you listening? I heard you on 11. I heard you talking. Skip on 11. I couldn't get through, but you were coming in pretty good. It's. Did I have the? I'm not sure I had the archive on, but if it is, you'd hear yourself on the audio playback before the net. Liberty Lake, Washington. That's a great. I love the alliteration of Liberty Lake in Washington. I hope you're having a good time. If indeed there is a lake, sometimes there's Liberty Lake and there's no lake, but I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a lake involved with that. Centerville, Virginia. Coming to you, Plymouth, Minnesota. Hans is in Copenhagen. I'm going to check. Sometimes it will give me pertinent information about the perceived location. And tonight, it gives me nothing. Nothing for Amar Garbo. Nothing for Sunday Vester, Seaborg, Hellerup. Nothing. So I tried, but I'm striking out. Belfast, Maine, of course, Derby, New York, wherever it is. And a host of others here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Just slogging through the roll call. Kenny, you are in, if I collect the right button here, SWL 70. That's what happens when I use push to talk. I wonder if I could run Vox. That would... I don't know. That wouldn't be too good. SWL 71, our current 00, believe it or not, Stan, it happened again. It happened one night in Dallas, Georgia. Stan checked in early, so he probably doesn't know he's 00. Anyway, Stan, I hope you are doing well. Probably had a busy day and a busy tomorrow. That's why he's in and out. Yeah, Van Man, yeah, you were definitely banging in the Central Valley tonight. SWL 72. Mr. Radio Boy. SWL 73. Got a proxy for SWL 74.
Franco, CR.
Hey, there he is. Hello, 61, 61, 61 over.
Thank you. I just got home.
All right, I had proxied you in because I figured you might try during the skip that we had, but you are loud and clear now, over.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, thank you. From way out there, SWL 61. Just got home. I know how that is. But what a trooper. You just get home and you say hello to the wife, you say hello to your wife, pet the dog, and run in and check into the Old Tube Radio Network. Now that is an astute radio operator. Let's go to SWL 76, way out in Rhode Island somewhere. Notice how OTR was number 3. The significant other always has to be number 1, lest you get in trouble. SWL 77. SWL 78. Richard in Wild Wildemore. I haven't heard Richard on the HF airways lately. Mr. DC is hanging out at the big Fresno Fair, where I'm not sure who the entertainment is tonight. Is this the first weekend? I think it is. So the last week. It's probably the last weekend. Probably the last weekend. So they usually have some pretty good entertainment on Saturday evening. SWL 80. And all is well. All is well. Oh, I wanted to show the reason we don't have our pumpkin tonight is it was been loaned out courtesy of, let me just get a picture of that. Yeah, courtesy of the Big Red Limo. Took it out to a couple of venues. I don't know where it was. They went out to the Boys and Girls Club, and they had pumpkins for everybody. It was the whole limousine. If you're on the video, that limousine, let me tell you, can hold a lot of pumpkins. I think Bob had special little pumpkin harnesses installed at one time. So when we do these things, the pumpkins will not crash about, and you will not have a rolling pumpkin pie thing. But anyway, thanks for that. We have use of the Big Red Limo here at the Old Tube Radio Network, and they always come up with something that works quite nicely for community service, and we do appreciate that. Let's go to page 4. It is almost radio time, so don't go away. SWL 81. SWL 82.
82 checking in from the Ditch Banks of Biola.
The Ditch Banks of Biola, where things are good. Well, you heard the skip, and it has sort of died down. We had our version of Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, but now we're actually hearing the locals. Over.
Yes, it has died down a bit for you, so I have been able to hear you quite a bit here. So, yeah, I don't think that other place is coming in loud tonight. I don't hear them. I don't want to mention what state. I don't want to get them wound up. So, anyway, yep, I can hear you tonight.
And likewise, you're sounding good. I just realized I haven't checked the audio level on the incoming receive. There are various audio levels I have to check that go out to the stream, so I apologize if people are having to adjust their volume. I will work on that. Ron, you are sounding good. Ron sits in the air chair of the Ditch Banks sideband net, which you can hear locally with no problem on Friday evenings, I guess one more week of 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 8 o'clock, 27.365 on the lower side band of channel 36. The Ditch Banks sideband net, there's a roll call, there's a spot for visitors to check in. You got some great contacts from, and we even had Squamish Mobile checking in, Australia. Always a fun time, so bring your sideband radio on Friday evenings, and as they say on the radio, give it a listen, won't you? So thanks, Ron, you're sounding good.
All right, Dennis, you have a good night there, and thanks for hosting tonight's net, 7:30.
All right, sounding good. The skip is going away. They call me Mr. Beefhead is listening in and thinking, what is going on? It's the Sears sucker suit, it's the pocket protector, and coming up, those old tube radios, glow-in-the-dark radios, sort of the fins and chrome of your two-way radio madness back in the late 50s, 1960s, and 70s, Class D CB radio. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you are not familiar with what radio was like back then. We are turning back the clock and then throwing it away because we don't care about clocks, we care about radios, and they will be coming up after the roll call in just a few minutes. I want to say, I give a shout out to, where is it? The Voodoo Labs. This deserves the close-up camera were I to actually find it and it were to work. Let me try that. Right there, yeah. The Voodoo Labs. I get my finger out there. Voodoo Labs. Hello to Mark and his Voodoo crew, Mr. Mac, the Ultimate Queen, And Mark has the premier. I'm going to say I'm not one of the. He has the premier Voodoo. Look it up. Voodoo Audio. ESSB Voodoo. Look it up. He's got everything and more. Voodoo Eyes the radio, and it sounds most excellent. Were you to be wearing the 3D audio headphones? Thanks for joining us tonight, Mark. We just got through with Skip from Near and Far Out. So I wonder what 40 is doing. I was on last night. I heard you guys, and it was nothing. The band dumped. It went very, very long. So maybe this is the only place to be. Let's go to SWL 83. And I don't know. I mean, on the Universe meeting, you can't really do voodoo audio, even when you do the proximity thing. I don't think it works. Sylvania, Ohio. Did I miss you? No, nothing. SWL 84. We'll get 84, 86, 87, and 88. That's the Cheerios Kid, the Mountain Maid, the Snowy Owl, and the Tandy Girl. Not necessarily in that order, because I think I got them out of order, but get you all checked in tonight. Let's see, what was going on tonight? Somebody was talking about Skip. Yeah, Rare DX on 10 meters, a lot of good stuff. I talked to Italy, just for no particular reason, is that they call and hello. The Kwajalein Atoll in the Marshall Islands, and this is this type of so small I can't even see it. I'm going to say it wrong. The Svalbard in the Arctic Circle, the cycle is heating up. And there was another little island out near Samoa or something that people were talking to. It's that proverbial island. I mean, the dot showing where the island was is so big it covered up the island. But I think it's that one where all you have is an island and one palm tree. And then, a couple of people standing there with antennas. Good stuff. All right, keep going, Dennis. SWL 89. SWL 90. SWL 91. Hello, Mr. Felix. And Aaron got Wales. Yeah, I mean, what's up with that? The West Coast guys are getting into Europe. And not only that, I mean, you can hear them. They're strong. And of course, they like to talk to us because they don't hear much of us. They hear the big guns with the antennas, but the vertical antennas are starting to get in. I don't even know what kind of antenna you've got. That's a good hop, because I know you don't have Aaron, I know you don't have that big tri-band beam up just yet. Felix is in, saying hello, radio to the Old Tube Radio Network control point, the shortwave listeners, and all the Old Tube Radio operators coming up. Thanks, Felix. SWL 93, Jimmy checked in just moments ago. SWL 95, Warthog 95, beautiful Florida. Where are the Florida? I haven't heard much of Florida on 40 meters, but on 10 they are roaring in. So thanks for joining us tonight. 95, A99. Okay, A99's decent. Get it up to what? Half a wave, quarter wave. You'll do well, as you have proven. Mr. Prune Picker, SWL 96. Hello, Dennis, out in Kermit. Listening. I'll give Dennis a proxy. Jim is in, Boston 97. He is hanging out over at Old Tube Radio Net somewhere. Seen a couple of posts. And Mitch, he contacted Wales. Except they sound a little funny. You know, I guess a whale actually does sound like a digital mode. When you hear the recordings of the great white, or the whatever kind of whale you hear, they always have that sound. It sounds sort of like FT8. FT8 a lot. Sounds like a whale. Let's go to Jim, you're checked in. Let's go to SWL 98. Tracy. I see in there, Tracy. We will get you checked in here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. SWL 99. Where is Randy? Radio Randy, probably trying to fire up the big kahuna out there in Arizona, but we do not have conditions. The toothpick's in place. Well, I know, it's 7 after 9. I'm trying to get through the roll call. I want to get to some radios tonight. Of course, it's only 7 minutes after 9 o'clock here on the West Coast, but where many of you are, it's either Sunday and the sun is coming up and you're in front of your oatmeal, or it is very late and you're having that hot chocolate, a little bit of Ovaltine, or something like it, waiting for these tube radios. So, I don't know. Hopefully you have the toothpicks not with the pointy edges like they have around here. SWL 99. Oh, and you know what? It is Echolink time. I've been ignoring. I apologize because I lost my mouse, but I've been ignoring the Echolink. So we're going to give a shot to the Echolink link and see if we can figure out if Tony is listening in. KD4BAO, KB6GFD, over. Give Tony a call out of there in Clevelandville on the Echolink
Good evening,
link.
Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Virginia, matching at control, KD4BAO.
All right, 100 is checking in. You're sounding good. Everything is in place, ready to go. The tubes are warming up. Tony has unfurled his TOTA, Tubes on the Air banner, and we are not far away from Glow in the Dark Radio. Thanks, Tony, for joining us. 73 KB6GFD. Over to shortwave listener 102. I saw John from Arkansas on the list, and there he is right now. Saying hello to everyone in attendance tonight, and those who are not in attendance, who are maybe watching this at a later or is it an earlier date. Well, you can't watch it too much earlier. You've got to at least wait until the video is done. Then you can watch it as early as you like. And we are doing well. Thanks for joining us tonight. Shortwave listener 109, Mr. Crawdad, you might hear me now, but I saw your post, and I'm getting you checked in. Over. 6 a.m. in the land of Alpha 173. All right, well, that's good. The sun is up. We had eclipse, an annular is what they call it, where it's kind of not all the way, at least where we were here in Central California. SWL 110. SWL 111. Robert, I get you checked in. I saw your post. Good work today. Or was it yesterday? Anyway, good work on the function for the Clovis Amateur Radio Pioneers. SWL 113. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
114, hello Wayne. And everybody at the household there, I hope you're having a good weekend. Thanks for joining us, and we've got you checked in.
10 more. Thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
Shortwave listener 128 in beautiful Fairfax, Virginia. John, I see you on the list. I see you listening in, and I've got you checked in. Got to update my list. SWL 13, I saw you. You know, my comments were scrolled off the screen, so I missed you about 20 minutes ago, but you are up in the queue. Over on page 1, we've got you checked in. On page 4, SWL 128, just moments again. Oh, Michael, okay. I won't even repeat that one. But that's funny. You made me laugh. And I'm sure somebody's done that in the OTR pool as well. Who's joining us up in the balcony? You've got they're shining the little Tell them not to do that, the laser things, to get my attention. Yellow Springs, Ohio. Yellow Springs. We had a lake. Who was in the lake? Now we got a spring. Yellow Springs, Detroit. Michigan. Who's near Detroit? I don't know. All right. That's our new stations. Glad to have you along. The radios are coming up, so don't go away. SWL 131. Sometimes I look around and it's like, oh yeah, we're on the air. We're doing this. SWL 133. It's like somebody told me to proxy Dave in. I will do that. Out of Northwest Fresno. They say, get that Dave checked in. SWL 135.
If this thing is working, SWL 135 checking in. Hope everybody enjoyed the solar eclipse today. That was pretty cool.
It was. It's that eerie feeling. I mean, for somebody who wasn't privy to the eclipse, they would have gone outside and they say, something's wrong. Go back inside. But no, it was cool. And if you look through the proper ocular optical devices, you could see it was pretty well covered up. It's amazing how much light comes through with not much sun.
Yeah, we had about 80% coverage here just after 9:20. Again, it was a great event.
It was. They don't happen often enough, and if they did happen often, then we should be worried. You are sounding good. A portent to come that we will be chatting with that radio yet again when the radio start glowing in the dark. Thanks for checking in. Sounds good. And the band is getting quiet. SWL 137. Shortwave listener 145. And I've got a bad Friday schedule, so I keep missing Tony's net, the early risers net on 2 meters, one of the 2 meter repeaters here. Tony does the Friday night. He does questions. Let me see if I can find his questions while we have a chance. Number 1, does a radio control pilot need an FCC license to operate his transmitter on the 50 megahertz RC segment? Okay, so radio control pilot. So you've seen the kind of mid-sized, small radio control planes. I didn't know where they were transmitting, but somewhere on the 50 megahertz RC segments. I didn't even know there were 50 megahertz RC segments. I know we have them here on 27. And the answer is yes, since it's in the 6 meter ham band. All right, well, I learned 2 things about that. And I think there's another question. Question 2. Who sent the first transatlantic Morse code signal, not who received it? Who sent the first transatlantic Morse code signal and not who received it? Well, this is one for me to look up and find out about this gentleman. Thomas Barron. Was he sitting next to Marconi or Fessenden or one of those gentlemen? Thomas Barron. ThomasBarron. So I want to look that up, find out what he was doing. Was he in front of the Was it in front of the Browning Eagle with the Morse code key? I don't know. Anyway, thanks, Tony, for the questions. Let's go to Bobby, Snow Beast Jr., SWL 188.
Evening time, Dennis, 188 checking in.
All right, sounding good. Yeah, it's been I bet you've been busy on Skip if you've actually had a chance to be by the radio. And Bobby's becoming sort of a YouTube celebrity, showing up on the various, what do they call them, the video gates, shooting Skip all over the place. Anyway, you make the Central Valley proud. Over.
Well, I'm glad to think so. But thank you anyways.
All right, you're sounding good. I always appreciate when you stop by the Old Tube Radio Network, keeping their tradition going for all these years. Sounding good. 195 up in Corscoll. Jim, if you are out there, I will get you checked in.
Yes, sir. I'm up here. Still listening.
All right, yeah. Just can hear things now that the skip has died down a little bit. It makes it kind of nice. You are sounding good in the flatlands, and we have you checked in over.
I sure thank you, Dennis.
And Mr. Jeff, Mr. Shockwave 226 up in the hills somewhere. I'll give Jeff a proxy check-in. Anyone else I missed or wants to jump in because they just couldn't get through the skip OTRs listening? And Matt, who says he just found this item. Well, that's good. Been doing this for 38 years. It hasn't been the video thing and the audio thing, but were you to have been here in the Central Valley of California on Channel 11, 27085, you probably would have jumped in at some point with either a comment or an old radio, whatever, the Old Tube Radio Network. The good part is about to begin for those who are waiting for tubes and radios. So stand by. I got to do a bunch of stuff so that can happen, and I will be back in a couple of minutes. And then we will be on the air with your glow-in-the-dark radios, OTR, back in just a moment. All right, I think we are still happening. Your Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by OTR. Brought to you by 27.085 megahertz. Brought to you by RADI. The Old Tube Radio Network.
Your Old Tube Radio Network, since a long time ago, when the tubes weren't quite as old. Now we should be calling it the the really old Tube Radio Network. Radio's glowing in the dark. I remember to turn on the radio in the background. And where is the pen tonight? Oh, you know what? They say put in. This is an iconic thing. I'm going to populate the pocket protector, which is filling up. This is called, let me bring up the less than stellar close-up camera. This is called if I can find it. A Greenie. Yeah, it's the little flat blade screwdriver, if I can hold it, and Exolite makes these, but it's green. And anybody that's worth their salt that needs to, as we say in the business, peek and tweak should have one of these. You might have, was there a Reddy or a Bluey that was the Phillips version? The other one might have been a pointy, like an awl, like a poker version. So here we are, putting the Greenie into the pocket protector, and I am ready to do those fine-tuning, peeking and tweaking adjustments. Now everything is good. We've got the radio, we've got that. Is there something else I'm supposed to do? I'm looking there. They say, oh, have a grape. I'm supposed to have a grape. And then we will check in. These are so good. I will check in a radio. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
135, 135.
All right, we are ready to go. I was giving a little extra time for radios to check in and some great grape chewing. Hello to GWD Labs. Positive peaks are off the Richter scale. Let me look. Let me bring up the REA again. Oh yeah, you know what? I have, oh man, maybe, see, my audio has been changing because it was really low, so I think I turned it up earlier. Notice the positive peaks. I can adjust that. There is an adjustment for the radio only, and I believe it is right there. Hello, that's a little bit better. Although I have a phase rotator and I don't know, all sorts. The decorrelator is turned on, so believe it or not, you think it would be distorted, but it really isn't. I listened and noticed we've changed the little positive thing there, so we're doing it. All right, thanks for that. GWD is my technical guy on the run. When he does the shame for flat topping, he would say. But I think we're good now. 135. Now that I've adjusted everything, I'm going to shut up so you can take a transmission. Thank you.
Nope, sounds like the skip is coming back. Do I have it?
It is yours, Mr. Green Arrow. Go ahead, over.
Okay, if everything is still working. This is SWL 135 checking in on a radio from Bristol, Indiana. This is the Demco satellite. I think it's also known as the CB1 Demco satellite. There should be a picture of it in there somewhere. Let's see, there are all 23 channels transmit and VFO receive on the receiver. There are 15 tubes in this thing, including the EM87, that's Echo Mike 87, Magic Eye tube, modulation monitor. Back to you.
All right, sounds good. For some reason, I think I've had that. It's been so long since it checked in. I think it's actually not under Demco. And I go to Demco, I'm on the Rolodex here. I really want to get a picture of this before we start. So what else? What is Demco? I'm trying to figure out what else we have it under here.
It should be under the Demco satellite, I think.
Yeah, but they have another. It was under another name, another company name. I think that's where these came in.
Command Electronics.
And there it is, Demco satellite. Is this the CB1 or the CB1A?
I'm not sure. Try both. Harvey, yeah, thanks for blowing out my voice coil in my speaker.
All right. I've got one of them. This is the, it is your collection, believe it or not. So it's the transmitter receiver with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knobs and the 1, 2, 3, 4 knobs and the speaker and the modulator and the D104 microphonium.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I used to use a D104 with this. I'm currently using a Turner Super Sidekick microphone going into the Demco modulator. It sounded and worked a whole lot better than the D104 did.
Okay, and this has the Magic Eye tube in the vertical left to right center position. I'm sorry, not vertical, horizontal position.
Yeah, I was just going to say, mine is horizontal, and it is in the upper left of the transmitter.
Indeed it is. All right, we have the right shot and the calendar perfect picture here. And the nice little treat is this is the radio that you're hearing is the radio that we're seeing. A lot of times it is not that way. And a multi-piece radio, all say Browning Laboratory, separate transmitter receivers. So this was not for the faint of heart. In theory, you know, the Citizen Band radio was this supposed to be not very technical for non-hams, no testing required, no hobby-like communications. But let me tell you, this is a radio and a thing and a half to put together.
Yeah, tell me about it. Hauling it out here to the CB Cabana is all kinds of no fun. And all that equipment, hello, and I'm getting about 3.5 watts out of it. So it's an awful lot of equipment to set up for that. But hopefully it's doing a halfway decent job. I do have the modulator on. I'd like to turn it off and ask how much difference it makes. The modulator is now out of the circuit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 suffering sibilants and sausages. And back in. Did that affect the audio that much?
Yeah, made a big difference. In fact, I was looking, but I didn't have it on the screen. I had the Orban loudness meter, so I might have to do that again. Let me go to the S meter. Of course, it's not good when I'm on, so I might go back to the Orban meter. So yeah, do it again. Come on back with the Demco modulator and what he's talking about. Let me get a shot of it. That is the unit underneath, at least in this picture, it's underneath the speaker. It's got the two knobs, microphonium. So the microphonium goes into the modulator. The modulator has a cable that goes back out. I hope I'm describing this right, because I don't even see a mic plug into the satellite, but that should, the microphone cable from the modulator should go back into the transmitter, and then you can let us know what the controls are. It looks like there's a variable control, maybe an in, out, or an on, off, and possibly a modulation light. So back to you with the modulator in. We'll go to the Orban meter for loudness, and over to you.
Okay, we'll do that. The left knob is the mic gain. The right knob puts it in and out of the circuit. You plug the mic into the front of it, and in this case, it's got a special cable in the back that goes into the back of the transmitter and controls everything that way. So it is in now. The reason I ask you about this is because the modulation monitor on the transmitter doesn't seem to get any brighter or anything, whether it's in or out. So that's why I ask if it's making a difference. So this is in, and this is out. Yeah, I'm getting exactly the same response on the modulation tube, the EM87 on the transmitter, as I do when I put that back in there like that. Okay, so what did that do for me?
It did a lot. Let's go back to a picture of the radio. And I was showing the Orban meter where we're looking at the LKFS, the full scale meter where typically you're somewhere around 20, minus 20. You kick out the modulator and you drop to minus 26, which is quite a noticeable, audible difference to your ear and a noticeable sound difference. And even on the S meter display, you're about half of the scale of forward movement on the meter. So it's definitely, I would say, a required item of interest unless you made some other adjustments on the radio itself. So modulator is in. Of course, those were sold as a separate unit at one point, and you could put them with any radio. And I want to say there's at least 1 or 2 tubes involved in the modulator itself. So you have your microphonium of choice. It's nice. You could even have a regular standard microphone, non-amplified, of course, and let the modulator do its trick and make sure you have the proper connecting cable into the radio. It's interesting that they have a special input, because I see the microphonium plug, let me give a shot of it, on the satellite, the transmitter with the Magic Eye, but there's nothing in it. And as you said, it's got its own special cable in the back. Over.
Yeah, that way you could do it either way. You could either wire a mic straight into the transmitter or go through this. As far as I understand, these came with the modulator. It was part of the package. Your separate transmitter, receiver, modulator, separate speaker, and even a little SWR watt meter. They tried to include all the goodies, but interestingly enough, they did not include a microphone. There is instructions in the manual that actually they included like a mic plug, right? And there's a full page of instructions on how to wire that for your microphone. And I always thought that was kind of odd. You get all these goodies, and they never included a microphone. At least not with this model. I think they did in the later models of the satellite.
Yeah, interesting. Seems like, especially for an 11-meter Class D item of interest, you would think they would give you everything you needed in the box with your application, your license application to fill out, that you would have to, in theory, wait till you got it back from the FCC to transmit. You could set everything up, but you really needed to have your call assigned to the station, and then whatever other radios you had, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. Looks pretty good. And a good question from Van Man. What did a radio like that cost? Normally I have price points on these radios and dates, and for some reason I have neither on this. Well, ask Harvey. Satellite CB1. So Harvey, if you're listening, you have to chime in right now, but I'm just curious what Sam's photo fax that was in. And that kind of gives us an idea. If it was in one of the first 5, they were probably looking 1965 or before, which would sound about right, because it's got the Magic Eye tube. But the trams were around upward $300, $400. The Brownings were about that same price. So my guess is, because everybody, it's like anything, everybody has to match the prices. This probably would have been transmitter, receiver, all those pieces, especially because you're adding a modulator, which the other radios don't have, in a speaker. It would have been in the $300 to $400 range. Over to you for transmission. Nice radio. I remember, and I'll tell the story in a moment, and we'll check your frequency in a moment as well. But go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Incidentally, it's in sounds number 7 for anybody who wants to check those out. So along with the General MC6 and the ICO 777 and some other cool radios. I'm showing the teensiest bit high. I got 0853. So I'm pretty curious to be right on if you're tuning me in. Have you got me tuned in there yet?
No, I was on the wrong scale. So try. You're very close to right on frequency. Try it again.
Oh, okay. I thought I blabbered long enough about all that. Okay. Hey, I've got an owl. There's an owl in here. But so, no, that's cool. We got some critters. How about that? You got me tuned in?
All right, get back to the right mode here. 85, 125. So got you about a little over 100 cycles. A little over 100 cycles high. So yeah, but when I switch to the 0 beat, you're right. I can hear you fine.
Okay, didn't know if it was my turn or not. Yeah, I have no idea what these things originally cost, but I'll bet they were pretty expensive, eh?
Yeah, well, for the day, I bet they're probably close to the $400 range. I remember a friend of mine buying the Demco modulator, and this would have been in early 1970s, so they still had the modulator out. And those were close to $100 then, just for the modulator with the I know with the tubes, I think 2 tubes, probably a 12AX7. So, and I agree, natural observation saying Demco made cool looking rigs. They're way more space age looking than the Brownings. Lots of lights and knobs and this is just one of them. They made some different styles. And someone mentioned, we talked about this before, and I'm not sure we even have an answer to satellite, the spelling of satellite. Done on purpose? Done by mistake? Were there not enough satellites beaconing around that they knew what a satellite was? Is it a play on words, but missing SATLL, missing double L on the satellite? And so no one's fessing up if it's a mistake, that's for sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Harvey.
Yeah, I don't know if you were going to mention it, Cliff, but you know this. It's the clone of the Samson with the same model numbers. The Samson is in Sam's Book 5, March of 65. Basically, same radio. In fact, some of the accessories that have an S on them, some people think it's for satellite, some say it's for Samson, but you got to look at the meter. Down at the bottom of the meter, it'll either say Samson or Demco.
And I've brought up, for those at oldtuberadio.net or watching the video, here's speaking of the Samson, and it is the CB1A. So CB1A, same model number. Let me go to one other thing here, just while I can do it live. Okay, there's the transmitter. There's the R101A, that's the transmitter. They had a separate T110A, which was the receiver, and it says big S, Samson, looks like the same thing. Let me go back to the CB1A because it's a cool ad, and we'll go to the close-up. So more talk power, most advanced CB base station. It's in December 1962 when it was Samson, so this is earlier than I thought. So it was at Samson at 1962. New York Coliseum, New York City, International Communications Fair. Be sure to see the Samson. Their company's out of Chicago. The finest two-way CB radio communications available. Transmit and receive radio messages up to 30 miles base to base, 20 miles base to mobile. Easy operation, built to exacting professional standards. And then they give some various items of interest. 5 starter kit with 5 crystals for channels 6, 7, 11, 15, and 21. Notice 11 was usually always included in that. Only $10 with purchase of a CB base station. Okay, well, there you go. So, Samson, perhaps Demco bought Samson or something like that. Oh, back to you, Cliff.
Yeah, I still don't know how much they went for. But yeah, I was just looking at my meters. The receiver meter says Demco Electronics, Inc., Bristol, Indiana. The transmitter meter says Ideal Precision Meter Company, Inc. And that's a volt and milliampere meter. So I guess they farmed that out to somebody else, eh?
Probably. I mean, those are nice large meters. Let's see, what are we seeing now? The CB1A. And I'm going to jump back to yours, which is, it shows up under the CB1. Not sure where the money. Your speaker is different. I think the speaker is different on that than on the Samson. But everything else looks pretty much the same. And just because it's a lighting thing and it shows up different on the picture, the fronts of the transmitter and receiver are both silver, because on the picture one looks silver and one looks kind of bronze or gold. So I'm assuming that's a lighting thing.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was a lighting thing. It must have been reflecting off the curtains or something. Because yeah, they're all the pieces are definitely a silvery brushed brushed steel kind of thing. No amber or gold colors on there. The printing is all still pretty good on it. They are interesting looking radios. I don't have one. Harvey has some somewhere, but if you want to see some really sharp, futuristic looking Demco satellites, you should check out the the Super Satellite and the Satellite Deluxe. Those are also extremely cool looking radios.
And extremely loud. 23 Skidoo has jumped in, as he often does, jumped in his Rolodex files and has come up with the 395. I did a pretty good guess. 395 for the transmitter receiver with the speaker. So that, I'm assuming, does not include the modulator, which might have been another $69 to $99 back in the day. So $400 of radio, which 1963 or 64, you could buy a used car for that. You could buy a very nice console, maybe not a color, I don't know, maybe. Console television, the newfangled stereo systems coming out, electronics, or, just forego the groceries for the month and pick up yourself a satellite. The Super Satellite, there was a REACT station where I grew up in Manhattan Beach. There weren't very many people on CB radio, but this guy was one of them. He was a West Coast REACT, and he ran a Demco Super Satellite with the modulator, and you could hear that station on Channel 9, on Channel 10, on Channel 11. You could tell it was when he was chasing the hubcaps on the San Diego freeway. It was on all the time. His whole family was involved in the REACT, and they were on almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can imagine, the freeways in Southern California, always busy, always giving reports of traffic. So really did a lot of service back in the day. And he had the West Coast REACT, and you could hear him all up and down that part of Southern California. KOX 1095 West Coast REACT. I think his name was Bud. He ran the Demco Super Satellite. Back to you. Take a transmission, and we'll see if we've got some other stations. But this is a cool-looking rig. The Magic Eye tube, of course. We got to have those in the month of October. And sounds good. The audio is nice. I know you could probably get that thing to scream a lot louder, but I like the way you've got it tuned up.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask about that. I can turn it down if you want. I was just going by the wiggle meters and the modulation monitor and all that kind of stuff. I can turn it much higher, but I think it'll start to squeal if I do that. The month of October is definitely Magic Eye. This is my intro to the Magic Eye things. There will be more coming in the weeks ahead. With that, I'll send it back to you, and if there's nothing else, I'll see you next time.
All right, no need to turn it up. It's sounding perfect. I like the way it sounds, not overdone in the least or the most. Where was did you have the manufacturer city again? Where was that over?
According to the front of the radio, it says it in several places, actually. They made a big deal out of it. It says Demco Electronics Incorporated, Bristol, Indiana.
Bristol, Indiana. One of our listeners, John 120, was saying Demco is just about 5 miles from where he grew up in near Bristol, Indiana, or Command. So there it is. I guess I grew up, I just never know. I was probably about 30 miles away from Burbank, beautiful downtown Burbank, but little did I know that General Radio Telephone was there. So good stuff, great radios from, 60 years ago or so, still looking and sounding mighty fine. Thanks for bringing it by again. Thanks for your great photos. It really helps for those who are watching to kind of get a feel of what it's like to drive the radio, like sitting in an old Lincoln Continental or a Chrysler Imperial with all the knobs and push buttons. Kind of fun. So thanks for radio number 1.
Okay, no problem. And it's an awful lot of fun actually to operate. It is kind of a pain to drag all this stuff out here and hook it all together. Behind there is, like a spider web of wires. But no, it's still an awful lot of fun. I'm not knocking it. I just, just having fun. With that, we'll see you next week.
All right, we are here. Someone comments, a very clear sounding radio, and indeed it is. I'll take a quick break with the Jingle Singers, and we will be right back for your check-ins, radios, or if you didn't get in because of the skip for SWL, we'll get that as well. You are listening to from Central California, streaming at oldtuberadio.net with some video, but live and direct right here on Channel 11, the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
Hopefully the station for you is OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network. Maybe you do something like this where you're at, get on the air night. If not, you should. We are listening for Radio 2.
Number 7.
And hello, Mr. Ed, SWL7. Just a reminder, you don't have to have any previous check-ins, any numbers, any special things if you find yourself in possession of that old radio from Uncle George, right? It's in his back lot in the plastic bag, and you've got it all nice and prepped and ready to go, fired up, and this is a place to bring it by, and we'll do a little quality control and maybe even tell you something about it. Radio 2 is on the line right now. Hello, Ed. Take a transmission. Over.
Well, this one is the Browning Mark III SSB.
I have a picture of that. I'm not sure the Browning was the rival to the Demco, because the Browning, of course, was out a little bit earlier with various items of interest, but I'm sure the Demco was certainly trying to go after the Browning crowd with the transmitter-receiver combination et al. Another radio top of the line. Here's the photo, and take a transmission.
There you go. Well, yes, this one was one that I could look at but not touch when I was a kid. And so now I have one of my very own, and I can touch it and look at it and do whatever I want to with it.
Yeah, where we were, like me, where we were running the aisles of Radio Shack, aspiring to maybe a Mini 6 or a realistic Navajo, but in reality, hoping that we might get something like this. So it's nice to have it on the shelf.
Oh, yes, it is. But you have to have a pretty good size shelf because it needs about 3 feet of space. Not quite 3 feet, but almost.
And surprisingly enough, at least where I grew up in my first radio days in, say, 1969, 70, 71, 72, 73, there were a lot of these radios. And I knew they were expensive, but I didn't kind of figure out, what it meant. It meant, maybe a full month's salary for some people to get one of these radios on the shelf. And they had the Mark II, the R68, T68, the S27, R27, S23, the Mark III, the Mark IV, the radios before that. So like automobiles, they kept tempting you with new models every 18 to 24 months to get you to upgrade. I don't know if they had a trade-in plan. I would imagine you could probably sell your used radio with no problem or trade it in an electronics shop. But I remember there was one channel down in LA that pretty much everybody on that channel had a Browning, and they all had their pings set up differently with different lengths and different sounds, and it was a thing. And you always felt bad just trying to go in there and take a transmission, because it's like, well, I don't have a Browning, but not that way at the Old Tube Radio Network. Take a transmission.
There you go. Yes, I have the little switch in the back, so I can change the flavor of the ping, but just going to leave it on the short one tonight.
Sounding good for those of listeners like myself wearing the headphoniums, that is a good thing. Want to check in while we are here at the Browning, SWL 83, JC in Ohio. We'll get you checked in. Also, say hello to Neutral Observation, United Delta X-Ray 382. Checking in, and I can't remember. Are you Palm Springs on the coast? Neither? Both? I can't remember. But anyway, sounding good tonight, Mr. Ed. Give us one more, let me put on the Orban meter, see where you're at. Give us another transmission on the Browning for the Browning fans.
Okay, here we are one more time with the Browning. Kind of curious to what the Orban says anyway. So there you are, and with that, we'll be listening for another radio.
All right, yeah, nice and loud. Up to minus 17. I think the Demco was at minus 19. Also, a little more high-frequency fidelity, and I think that also plays into the perceived, as what does Robert Orban say, the perceived loudness of the signal when there are accentuated high frequencies, which of course the Brownings have, and especially with that microphonium. So thanks for stopping by. Checking in another shortwave listener, SWL 99, and Randy, as you can hear, or as I should say, as you can't hear tonight, and I'll put the X in the square, we had lots of the Pacific skip from Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, and the Midwest skip when before the gray line, and now it is very quiet. I kind of thought that we would have possibly some, let me put up the DX map here. Yeah, the E-skip, the sporadic, and you can see there's just, is not making it, whatever is happening isn't making it. It is over on the East Coast, but isn't quite making it up to the 11-meter portion here tonight. But that's not to say that it won't. So in the meantime, we will get you checked in. 99, hope all is going well on 40 meters. I know the band has been dropping out early, like 9 o'clock, and so you can't hear the stations that are 100 miles away, but you can hear the ones that are 1,000 miles away. We got you checked in, and we are listening for any and all check-ins. Radio number 3. And radio number 3 in Sangertown is beaconing in because there's none of the big brute stations coming in from Hawaii tonight. Hello, radio. All right, from the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III, which made its debut, or its upgrade to a Mark III in 1972, and was pretty much doing okay in 73, 74, 75, 76. I wonder if they would have ever upgraded that, because they didn't really need to until the 40-channel debacle, if you will, and the FCC saying, well, yeah, we really don't want 23-channel radios to be manufactured or even sold. And so it kicked a lot of people, a lot of the manufacturers, into having to change internally the radios, or like Browning did, is make a whole brand new model. At a very bad time, by the way, especially for the economy, 77, 78, 79, when a lot of the import radios were coming in, could be made cheaper. So pretty much broke the company, if you will, even though I think they formed out in later episodes to some other people to make the radios. But here it is. A lot of people say this is their favorite Browning, the Mark IV. Take a transmission. All right, well, digitally on the channel 11, the selector on the Mark III, of course, was set up in frequency, so you had to take a little tutorial to know, although they did have the channel numbers on there, but No guessing on this. You don't have to realize it, especially with the new 40 channels. Okay, so 23, 22, and 20. No, it was 24 is actually a lower frequency than 23 because of the way they did things. So no guessing involved. Just dial in the item you want. And what was the microphone you're using again? All right, good choice for that. Got a good sound. Oh, and here's the picture. This is from Martin Pendleton. Let me give Martin a shout out. We're going to switch over to a radio. It should be right here. Yeah, there it is. A little nicer picture. We've got 2 meters, just like the Mark III. Says here's what he says. Here's what Martin says. One of my favorite radios of all time. However, not used for about a year. Other than the Tram, it is my favorite radio. So, why shouldn't it be? It's very nice looking. They made it with the speaker grill and the nice eagle on the front and the knobs. It really was dressed up to match, especially even like the old RCA wooden radios in the 40s and 50s that were furniture that belonged in a main room, a living room, or a front room or something. This was indeed what I'm sure Browning was looking for. It wasn't just for something in a shop or Radio Shack. It really was to be a piece of furniture. Back to you. And it did do sideband, upper and lower sideband separately, so it had some selling point in that, and we do have a price point on this for to have the right radio turned up. 1977, original price about $895. So, and you might find them less or more, so around $900. And if somebody was doing a calculation from 1977, $76, I'm sure that would be up in the multi-$1,000 today. It would be like a nice top-of-the-line ham rig, which indeed it basically was. I'm glad we could get you in. I'm glad that the band has behaved a little bit. I actually did hear you during the roll call, so not a problem. Radio number 3 is the Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV, the Mark IV, their last in the Browning series, and doing a good job. Yeah, nice weather here in the Central Valley, mid-80s, even when the sun isn't full bore. Over to the Jingle Singers. We will be back in a moment with your radio check-ins on the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest station for you by far is known to all and
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
I see my symmetry doesn't like the Jingle Singers. Goes below 0, so maybe we got some phasing problems on their microphonium. I'll be doing counting them out. It's already 10 o'clock, believe it or not, here. So I'm going to stay too late. I see the boys and maybe girls are setting up here at the close by microphones. ETC is in the building tonight, said they would perform for us, and they are getting ready to do so. So if you got another radio you'd like to get in, let's do it now. The Old Tube Radio Network listening.
Number 7.
All right, I've got number 7. You will be the next Radio 4 step up into the air share, but don't take a transmission quite yet. And who was the other station?
20.
And 20. All right, Harvey. Warm those tubes up a little bit more. You will be after Mr. Ed. We'll clear the rigs, unkey, and find out what do you have number 7.
those people that are fans of the green radio, this is a large green radio. It is the Tram TR27E.
Keeping in the early 60s when the Demco was out and about, when the first Brownings, not the R27 S23, because that was about 1964, so this would have been back into the S9 transmitters, but indeed the Samsons and the Command radios were hanging around, and in the, what was it, the fall of 1973, in the TR series of trams, this was the last of the big ones. The TR27E, take a transmission.
Thank you. Yep, this is a nice large radio. Looks great, except for, of course, the little modified switch in there. Wish that wasn't there, but hey, if it wasn't there, I'd have a hole, so the switch is going to stay. Oh, and I'm also using the Electro Voice 638 microphone.
If you have a cool radio, a cool microphonium is a good addition. The EV638, a higher impedance microphonium that is preferred typically for the tube transmitters and was a favorite microphone of the Collins W0CXX. I talked to a Collins on the air special events station today, and I didn't ask what they were talking on or were they using the proper microphone, but Ed certainly is. Over to you.
Thank you much. Well, with that, we'll let you get to Harvey out there, and we'll be listening to whatever he brought.
Indeed. I also want to take a shout out to our radio operators, because you know, these radios sound good. They're produced. They don't have, a lot of the early ones don't have the modulation limiters and the clippers, so it is up to the operator to figure out the microphonium that works the best for their voice, to figure out the proximity and how to drive the microphone, to figure out if you need a modulator, an amplifier, or whatever. And I never say this enough, but they do a good job, and one of our listeners even said, those radios have the cleanest sound. So the radios do, but if you run it wrong, it won't. So that is a shout out to Ed, who has a good ear for listening and receiving, to know to look at the meters and to listen in and to make sure that whatever the radio can do, it does, and that you provide the right microphone and the proper technique to make it sound good. Because, yeah, it's easy, especially on these radios that weren't fixed, you know, like they were later. The FCC said, you know, fix the radio so it can't sound bad, so it can't overmodulate it, put in limiters and clippers. These radios don't have that. So, again, up to the operator to do it correctly. And Ed just does just that. And it's always nice to, when we're displaying a radio visually, when we're displaying it audibly, to make sure that it is at its best. So hats off to our radio operators and make our radio sound as good as they can. All right, with that said, Harvey, it is over to you. So make your radio sound good. Over.
Okay. I don't know how good this is going to sound. Tell me.
It sounds good. It has a little crunch on the key up and the key down, but that's the microphonium. I think you're doing well. Tell us what you've got. Over.
Okay. This is for Cliff. This is the Demco Star. It's got when I got it, it didn't have a top, and the wood sides were all crud. So I had a new top done, put on it, and then I had custom made sides, kind of by me. I bought some red oak and stained it reddish color, so it looks really sharp, I think. But anyway, it's a Demco Star. Now, I said Command Electronics for Demco, etc., and they apparently moved around a little bit, changed their names a little bit, So I remember there was a tag on one of my Demcos that said Command or Command Electronics. So this radio's up on a top shelf where it's hooked up. So I had to get up on a little step ladder, and I was going to turn it around and look at the tag if it had one on the back. Well, I got up there, swore at myself a little bit because it was going to be difficult to turn. Then I looked at the front, and it says Demco by Command, C-O-M-M-A-N-D. And I looked that up, and in 1983, Sam's PhotoFact Index, and Command Electronics was in Michigan somewhere, Schoolcraft, Michigan.
Interesting. So the third iteration, that was 83. So I wonder what else they were doing. Obviously solid state by then. And this is tubes. You can see the convection cooling in the top. Speaking of tram, very tram-esque. And a similar thing where they've melded the transmitter receiver into one box, but you still have a separate transmitter and receiver tuning. A lot fewer knobs. And that meter, tell me about that S meter too. Almost looks like it should be bigger. It doesn't fit the grandiose of a Demco. So I wonder if this was sort of their last gasp at trying to stay pricey, but give you similar things. Also, I don't know if you've worked on many of these. Is it one of those nightmares of heat where they cram too much in the box and you got to be careful? I know that's a lot of questions, but it sounds good. I'm not saying anything about the Star you've got, and obviously you did some refurb to make it look super nice. This reminds you of, what is it, the Tram Titan 3? Very, very similar, but again, they're trying to get that furniture. They're trying to get these radios into the house. Back to you.
Oh, yeah. It kind of is like a Tram Titan 2, kind of. The meter has a switch on it, S units, and then for power out, I got to flip the switch, and see, excuse me, then I see the power output, and it swings with modulation. Has a modulation light right below the meter and the switch, and we put it back. The transmit light is supposed to just stay on, but it fluctuates, not with my voice, just fluctuates, because it's probably bad, with key up. And then where it says power and Demco, in between that is kind of a orange neon light. I think it's neon. Anyway, it's a nice radio. I thought for Cliff we do Demcos. And I got one more that I'll do after this real quick because it's already warmed up.
All right, warmed up is good. The Demco, and it's the Star. Call it a Demco Star, but it actually says the Star on the front, and I think it's the Tram Titan 2A is the one that's similar to that. And I'm going to say this is a pretty rare radio. You won't find these around too much. I don't have a price point. My guess, it was probably over $500 easily. I've got a mic wiring. Pin 1 is ground, pin 2 is audio, pin 3 is push to talk. So there's a lot more pins in there that aren't doing anything. You are radio number 5 with the Star from Demco. Thanks for that.
And here's the last one. The Browning Golden Beagle by Browning Laboratories. R68T68, custom D104 with the Browning medallion on the back of the head of the unamped D104. And that should do it for me tonight. Yeah, I love this Demco. Excuse me. It has twin modulators in it too, similar to the Tram Titan 2A, which has the same thing.
All right, when you say twin modulators, you're talking about like a 6BQ5 type of thing, or what?
Yeah, I believe that radio has two 6BQ5s in it. I'm not sure about the final. It's not in Sam's. I've got a manual for it somewhere, and I have to find it. But anyway, it did suffer from some of the same problems of the tram, D201 and D201As, which were those raised tube sockets on the Bakelite circuit board, where they would kind of overheat, and you'd look at the bottom and it just looked really bad. These have the same type of circuit board, but they weren't used as much as the tram, so mine's just fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking when you cram everything into one box like that, and there's not a lot of cooling, you got to figure out where the transformer's going, and you got the big tubes. You can have a little bit of toasty components that you don't want to have. Sounds good. Listen to the playback. The clarity of this Browning is par none, and just between the difference between the Demco and the Browning, and just in the clarity of the audio, and that's partially because it's got that more high-pitched thing. But the Demco, very pleasant, and both radios putting in a good signal here today. Radio 6, Browning Golden Eagle R68 268. Thanks, Harvey. I'm going to do one last call. I'm getting the sign. Espresso Trucking Company is set up, so we'll be going to them shortly. So the Jingle Singers, not to leave them out. I don't want them to feel disappointed. So we'll go to the Jingle Singers. We'll be right back. If you've got a check-in or radio, we'll take that, and then it will be that time.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Yes, Be Modern on the Old Tube Radio Network.
14.
Hey, now there is some modern radio, 14. You're sounding good. Take a transmission over.
Yeah, I've got my eyes are open still, and I'd like to check in my Cobra 23 channel cam 88.
Okay, well, we need kind of a radio that's not a transmitter and receiver with multiple dials and, I don't know, something that says two-way radio. The Cobra Cam 88 is a good representation of that. Let me put it up on the screen, and there it is. This is a two-way radio. The case, the meters, the knobs, vented cooling, love it or leave it, right? Whether it looks good in the shop, whether you can sneak it in on the in the living room with the vase of fake flowers on the doily, and have your wife not complain, or maybe your wife will get her own handle, and you'll never get the radio back. Good deal back in the late 1960s. Take a transmission.
Yeah, or the pile of radios might keep women away from you. It makes me really good. But, yeah, I do like the Cobra Cam 88 PNK radio with the original PNK microphone as well, and mic.
Trying to see if I have a picture of the hand microphone with these two. I do not. I've got a picture of the meter, and I've got some other Cobra Cam 88s, but it's going to take me too long to find them. All 23 channels out of the box. There were two modes. There were two models. The one that had a range boost switch underneath the mod light, and one that does not. We're showing both. So which model do you have? Do you have the extra range expand or range boost or whatever they call it over?
Yeah, I have the Dyna boost, and the Dyna boost is on, and the modulation lamp is glowing on and off intermittently.
All right, take a transmission. I want everybody to see my noise level is at S3. You are right at S3, but the Dynaboost, the modulation is what we're hearing. So that is the reason these radios are popular with collectors, just because of the way the audio is. So take a transmission. Okay, and I was playing with the RF gain to see if I could dial you in a little bit better. I'm not, for some reason, I'm receiving you about an S unit lower than I normally do, and I think that's probably due to my receive setup. But I just wanted to show where you were on the meter and, you know, what it means to have really nice 98, 100%, 105% asymmetrical modulation going in with these tube radios, and how it makes a difference. The average talk power when you are literally at the noise floor of the incoming receiver, but still can have 100% conversation, 100% copy. Radio number 7, the Cobra Cam 88 from B&K, Dynascan, and a great radio. If you can find one of those, you will not go wrong. Especially if you're into audio, I'm sure they will accept a great amount of fidelity from your audio rack, because they don't seem to be filtered on the low frequencies, attenuation like the Brownings do. And we're just not hearing it because the signal isn't that strong. Back to you for another transmission. Thanks for bringing it by. I'm glad we had some conditions to, and we were both in the radio room to do that. So, Sean, take another transmission, and thanks for stopping by. Indeed. And what is Chrissy? Just adjust the audio adjustment and you'll be good. That is basic information that we should all heed. You want good audio? Adjust the audio. Make it good. It's up to you. SWL 76. I see you. Let me put the X in the square. Rhode Island is in. Red Fox 1. I will go to the big board here. Anybody else? SWL check-ins before we go, before I'm getting the cue. I'm getting the cue that it is time for seasonally apropos music here at the Old Tube Radio Network. And 76, thank you, we got you. I didn't check the board. See who's in. Fallon, Nevada. Yellow Springs is still in. Plymouth is still in. Hans is still in. So that's good. I know it gets late. It gets late where people are at. And then it gets early. But you can watch the replay if you are so desirable. And Jim says, have a Cobra Cam 88, but I have to jump out. Can you hear that? The noise, I think Bozo Control is in trouble. Had to jump out the audio section to get audio out. Well, maybe if it bypasses, what is it, the modulator, you can feed it direct with some audio trickery. I'm hoping that the pumpkin will be back to adorn the station here next week, but we certainly don't need the pumpkin when it is time for the Monster Crash. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we will see you next time on your Old Tube Radio Network, 73 from the Old Tube Radio Network. And take it away, boys.
I was working from the X late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my SWR began to rise. Suddenly, before my eyes, there was a monster crash. A monster crash. Things went up in a flash. There was a crash. It blew out the sash. Shack is trash. gonna cost lots of cash from the lavatory in the bedroom east to the family room where the teenagers feast. The family were jolted from their humble abodes by static discharge from my tube electrodes. It was a monster crash. A monster crash. They ran a 50-yard dash. It was a crash. Well, I broke out in a rash. Shack is trash. Gonna cost lots of cash. The relays were sparking tons. The magic smoke had just begun. I fumbled for the kill switch and turned around to run. The shack was rocking, it was making strange sounds. My tower started twisting, then dropped to the ground. The fire department was about to arrive, the sirens wailing as they entered the drive. They heard a monster crash. A monster crash. They backed off in a flash. It was a crash. I scrambled out in a dash. Shack is trash. I'm gonna cost wads of cash. Out from the wreckage, my cell phone did ring. My neighbor, he was troubled by just one thing. He heard all the noise, raised his voice and said, "Keep it down, you fiend, I'm trying to go to bed." He heard a monster crash. A monster crash. I said, "I'll show you my lash." He hung up in a rash. Shack is trash. I'm gonna cost wads of cash, but everything's cool. I'm back upon the band. A monster crash is legend all across the land. For SWLs are listening, this tale is meant to. Forget to ground your gear and it'll cost you. You hear a monster crash. A monster crash. Things blow up in a flash. It'll be a crash. You'll run off in a dash. The shack is trash. Gonna cost lots of cash. Easy, bozo, you impetuous old man.
Hey, Cliff.